Happy Thursday. I'm mostly better. I hope you guys are not getting sick. It has been kind of a doozy having a kid and working with kids. But anyway, I'm going to do my video. I am going to talk today about the question, did I just hallucinate? I know like once I've entered like a spiritual community in a spiritual world, most all of the people I'm around now in that world just say like, "Oh yeah, you had this experience. We'd love to hear about it." And it's just like completely validated and accepted. Um, but the way I was raised, which I always talk about, like I didn't what happened to me would have just been a hallucination. And I wanted to talk today about why I decided it wasn't just a hallucination. Um, and it does like take time to deconstruct that. It really did take me 15 years. So, um, but if you've had spiritual experiences, they're just so much more real than anything. So I'm going to just go through some of the ways I decided I didn't hallucinate. I guess it's kind of a big question. It kind of starts with what's real. So this is why that shaman I worked with always, even though I thought it was so weird, sorry, that's not nice to say. I was just like, I didn't know what he was talking about half the time, but I would be like, I think I'm schizophrenic. And he'd be like, it's okay, we're all schizophrenic. Or I'd be like, I don't know what's real. Like, is that dream I had real? Is that person thing real? Like the dream I had about the angel real? Or like, well, he's like, it's real. It's not real. Nothing's real. We're all real. You're not real. I'm not real. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, but sometimes just like flipping it in that way really did make me think like, okay, I don't know what's real. I'm not a philosopher. I just saw some things. Um, um, but I have read that the only thing that's real is like your heart's connection to source, God, the creator. Okay, so the question of what's real is like kind of a fundamental part of this. Like, did I hallucinate? I don't really have any answers about like reality. Please give me some if you have any ideas in the comments. Big questions here. Okay, so the main reasons why, like after thinking it in that framework, like why I decided I didn't hallucinate. Number one, there's like four main reasons. I've done a short video on this, I think just on my Instagram, but I'm going through them again today. So number one is my stepdad and the shaman. Like my stepdad literally, like I wasn't breathing a word about this. I was starting to have all these experiences with the light, like these dreams, these psychic dreams. And like he was really tuned into the spiritual world and he started having dreams about me like during my experience right away. And I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that there was a spiritual reality and that he was tuned into it because I was just like so like trying to hide what was happening to me, like embarrassed that this was happening to me because I was like a smart person and I was just like, oh my gosh, like this doesn't make any sense. And I'm in graduate school. Like I was like a top student. So, but he was, very removed from my personality world, even though he loved me as like a daughter, but he was seeing like the beyond world. And yeah, he really, really validated it for me because he was, he had several dreams about me in this spiritual experience. Like one, I was sitting in the sweat lodge with him and he said I was glowing all blue with spirit. And I told him that I knew how to go heal people now in the dream. I had lived a life it was a very beautiful dream. I remember him calling, he told it to me and I wrote that dream in my journal. But I lived such a dual life during that time that I was like, that's weird you had that dream. Like I'm in grad school, like even though I was going through these spiritual experiences, they were just they were just really hard for me to integrate and understand and really until the last couple of years. And then he also had that dream that I was becoming an angel of God on the earth. And all of that was during those 2 years. So he really, really validated it for me. He could see more of what was going on with my soul than anyone that I knew in my entire life. Like even when I would go see the shaman, like he'd help me like make a new framework for my experiences. But my stepdad was like actually keyed in because not only like was he my stepdad and we were really close like emotionally, like he was, as I said in other videos, he was said to be a medicine man in his tribe. And he was very, again, modest about it. So, okay, number one was that, like these other spiritual people, especially my stepdad. Number two, why I decided I did not hallucinate was the psychic dreams that started and kept coming true. So like yeah, you can imagine like this was me. I'm writing in my journal. I'm like trying to heal, but I'm also in grad school. And then I accidentally write this big promise to God. And then like that night I see a light like over my bed. Literally, I just was like, I don't know what's happening. It was so beautiful though. And but it's like if that happened to you, you would probably do the same thing. Like I literally flipped out, even though I knew it was very beautiful. Anyway, back to number two, which was the psychic dreams. So that week I started having these psychic dreams and they were, yeah, nothing I'd ever had before. Um, Now my mom does have them now. I don't know how long she's had them, but she does have psychic dreams as well. And even my daughter had one like a couple months ago. So I don't know if it runs in the family, but I didn't have that before. I had like my nightmares and I had like weird dreams. Then suddenly it was like people like light-filled people telling me like what's going to happen or what path I need to take. Um, and or just like I mean some psychic dreams I haven't mentioned in these videos. Like I remember when I like was working at a school after my experience ended and I was like the school was like really working on achieving, but in the dream at the beginning of the year I had this dream like where they were like building all of these structures to try to like move really high, but then it's like everything fell down. And I was like, woke up like that's such a weird dream. Like it all just collapsed. But that like happened by the end of the school year. But you know, that was like 8 months in advance, like of those all these like programs kind of falling apart. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I remember like at the end of the year when a bunch of drama and like stuff came to light, I was like, oh, that's what my dream was about. You know, just little stuff like that. I mean, so those psychic dreams started the week, like literally the week or two. I think it's that first week I started having them after I saw the light, and they've just continued. I can't force them. They come and go. I've talked about them a lot. I don't want to bore you guys, but that's another reason I decided I didn't hallucinate. I was like, okay, these dreams are coming true. Like, I don't know why, like, that would be a hallucination. I wish I could make them happen all the time, but, and they, again, I will say I don't really have dreams about the world. It's usually just about my life or about my friends' lives. I think that's just the way my abilities are. I do know people that have dreams about like major disasters in advance and stuff. I've met people through my work, pretty impressive, but maybe that would just freak me out too much. I don't know. Um, okay, so that was number two. Number three was it made my life a lot better. So like again, going back to that first question, what's real, what's not real? Like whatever you'd think about my experience, because I know like the huge part of me, I'm still like, I'm probably just nuts. Like I don't think that stuff really happens, but it did happen. Um, and whether you believe it was a hallucination or not, like it made my life so much better in such a fundamental, real way. Like I became so much happier. Like even if I was stressed, people would be like, "You're just so calm," and I'd be like, "Oh, that's not me. That's like whatever I saw, the light." But yeah. So it was yeah, people would be like, "You're just the nicest person." I don't think I'm that nice, but I did see a lot of love and light, and I think it changed my energy in like a really deep way. So yeah, that was the other reason I decided it wasn't a hallucination was that it made my life better. And then the last way, so a lot of this is just like me accepting the spirituality. I shared this in case you also are on this journey. I think it is like if you're a smart intellectual person like I was, it's like, okay, there's just no way that that's real. Like I know. But so the last way I decided it was like not a hallucination and it was real was doing like readings. So starting to do spiritual work for other people, that's accurate. I'm not saying I'm about 80% accurate most of the time. Sometimes more, but sometimes if I'm like anyway, maybe 90. Okay, let's say I'm 100%. I'm just kidding. But it is just like I'm tuning into energy. I'm reading and saying things and like sometimes I get like really spot on things that I could never know. Like and then I'm like, well, there's definitely more going on. I don't know how that was a hallucination. Um but you might already be on the other side of it. Like you already accept all these. Like if you're subscribing to me, I'm not exactly sure like what our people are who subscribe to me. If you're already like, yeah, we know this spiritual world's real. Like let's move on or if you're like just exploring it. So y'all should let me know because I'll keep doing I do like videos like this because it's like part of why I'm talking about it is I just got all these subscribers on Substack, and I feel like Substack is like kind of more intellectual, and that was my background. And I'm like, oh, should I talk about why I decided I wasn't hallucinating? Because I don't, people probably might think that, and truly, like, it's embarrassing for me to start talking about this. I'm afraid my professors from grad school are going to see it, or my dad, they probably have, and they're like, wow, Rebecca's really lost it now. But that's why I sat with it for so long. Like, I really had to know in my bones, like, what I experienced was a real, true experience that changed my life for the better. Um, Anything else about that? Please give me your questions in the comments. Those are like the main reasons why I decided my experience was not a hallucination. Um, yeah. And it's been really cool. And then once you make it to the other side, once I've made it to the other side of just acceptance, it's like really cool and beautiful. The last thing I'll say is I don't think you have to give up being a smart person to also become spiritual. Um, Oh, and a plug. My friends and I are starting a new like little podcast video channel. It's gonna be called The Veil: Tales from the In-Between, and it's two friends that I met studying. Like they're mediums. I do like angel readings or sacred soul sessions now. Um, and they're like, we just want this to be for regular people. Like, we're not that out there. Like, one is a retired firefighter and one was a retired canine trainer with in Atlanta. And so and I'm a speech therapist. So anyway, we're not like that woo-woo, we're not that out there. We do this stuff because it's like in our lives, and we're starting to record this week. So hopefully I'll give y'all more info when it comes out. It's gonna be pretty fun. But you don't have to stop being like a regular person to like have spiritual abilities or spiritual experiences. I definitely sometimes try to be too regular and shut it down. That's my problem. But I think it's very normal, like when you get the spiritual world open, like, and this is why I think there's a lot of judgment in the media. There, like every time I watch a movie or a show and there's like a new age person, they're super wacky. Like I watched that show with the rabbi that was so cute. Nobody wants this. But it was like, the mom was like really new age. And it's just like, I think that is a sad stereotype because I know so many people that are spiritual and beautiful and like tuning in. Like my stepdad, like he was born like with these beautiful, beautiful traditions in his lineage and heritage. So, um, but I think it's I would say it's like the crown chakra gets too open. You get too open and then you're not grounded and balanced in between like regular life and spiritual life, mind, body, spirit. So yeah, you don't have to stop being smart. You don't have to be super weird. I'm a little weird, but that's just like me. I'm from New Orleans. I don't know. I think when I have been like too out there, it's like because I wasn't like being grounded or balanced. So I don't know. Tell me your thoughts. This is a little bit of a longer video, a little rambly, but I love y'all. And yeah, are you already on the other side completely where you just know that a spiritual world is real, or are you still like debating it and not sure? Let me know. Love y'all. Bye.